We have, of course, the Supreme Court hearing arguments for the Mississippi abortion case, and it looks as though this time Roe versus Wade might really be on the chopping block. With the
Yes.
Texas case, it looked as though Kavanaugh and even Amy Pancakes looked prompted to overturn that, which would uphold Roe v. Wade. This time, it looks like not only are they going to uphold the Mississippi law, but that the ruling will be broad enough to the point where it could effectively undo Roe versus Wade. And so it looks quite serious. And of course, we all know who to blame for this. And that is one Susan Sarandon.
In a way, I feel personally responsible because I saw Shaft at the Apollo with Susan Sarandon in attendance, and I didn't say anything to her about her complicity and
well, that's true. But, don't beat
rights.
yourself up too bad over that, Russell, because by that point, it was too late. I mean, that was 2019.
But maybe she could have said something or done something, a mea culpa.
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like
I
had that moment. I had that influence
to sort of get out in front of whatever bad press she was going to get. Exactly. Yeah. Well, look, I mean, if you follow left Twitter, which I'm assuming a lot of you guys do, it's kind of one big online left community here that we are a part of to a certain extent, I guess. You saw Susan Sarandon trending at various points throughout the week because every time something happens, especially when it comes to like the Supreme Court is in the news or anything like that, you always have a faction of the sort of blue MAGA Twitter community go after Susan Sarandon and say things to the extent of, I hope you're happy because you didn't back Hillary, you voted for Jill Stein, it's your fault that all of this happens. Now, Russell, you sent me a video clip earlier, which I did prepare. And so I will get to that in a minute. I'll let you kind of commandeer that segment. I just have a very brief argument that I have to make for all of these liberals who want to come at Susan Sarandon and Jill Stein voters and Bernier busters and all of that. And it's a variation on what I have said in the past about this issue. We did an issue about the Texas 6-week ban a couple months ago, right? Whenever that news broke, we did a whole episode on it. And my general thesis is that basically the only way to defend any kind of civil right is through solidarity, which means that everybody has to show up for each other when everybody's rights are under fire. All right.
Right.
I'm going to make a much more narrow and focused and perhaps a bit meaner of a point this evening, but I think it's really necessary to make because these fucking people are just insufferable. All right. I am a pro-choice absolutist, an absolutist when it comes to the pro-choice. All right. I love it. I love the scene in South Park where Cartman's mom goes to the doctor and she says, I'd like to get an abortion. And the doctor says, how far along are you, ma'am? She's like, well, he's 10 years old. So like I am a pro-choice absolutist. I am 100% in favor of a woman's right to choose. However, I feel equally strongly.
Only because you said that. I don't want to break your stride. Philip K. Dick actually wrote a controversial short story that was, read as an anti-abortion short story, which he did not deny, where basically you could get rid of your kid up until they were 13.
Yeah, I mean, look, without going down that whole thing, I'm a pro-choice absolutist. Yes, absolutely. All right. However, I feel equally strongly that your right to a safe abortion is no more important and no more sacred than anyone else's right to any other medical procedure. And in 2016, you had a mass movement within the Democratic Party finally making their voices heard and saying, yes, it is long past due that we join the rest of the first world in guaranteeing all forms of healthcare as a human right. And everybody watching, everybody listening, we all remember this. We were all there. We all followed this very, very closely. You had type 1 diabetics coming out of the woodwork saying, yeah, you know what? I'm paying $900 a month for insulin and I can't afford it. And so I ration my insulin. And people who ration insulin are at constant risk of sudden death. I want everybody to understand that. Okay. You risk going into DKA at any second. You could go into DKA and you can die. Okay. And they are at constant risk of that because they cannot afford insulin. And they say, of course, we have to make healthcare a right. And we all remember what the response was from the Hillary people, from the blue MAGA people, from the hashtag resistance people. It was not any sort of civil, disagreements or empathetic conversation that happened. They said, you guys are a bunch of pie in the sky, spoiled brat, entitled socialists, and that your vision of insulin as a human right will never come to pass. That was Hillary Clinton's line. She said that it will never come to pass, to thunderous applause from the audience. That was a huge
It will never happen.
Woohoo! Everyone in the audience, woohoo, woohoo, woohoo.
Yeah.
And then
how did she lose? I still don't get it.
In the general election, those very same people who cheered at the idea that healthcare as a human right, all forms of healthcare as a human right, will never come to pass. They cheered at that idea. They called the people championing that idea, pleading for that idea because they needed it. Like I just said, entitled, spoiled brats, pie in the sky, socialist losers, right? They turned around and said, well, you now have to vote for Hillary Clinton because a conservative majority on the Supreme Court will threaten my right to abortion access. And I will tell you, most people went along with you and voted the way you wanted them to. But the ones who didn't had every right in the world to tell you to go fuck yourself then. And they have every right in the world to tell you to go fuck yourself now. Okay? They have every right in the world to say that how dare you insist I stick up for your right to an abortion when you will not stick up for my right to insulin, to heart surgery, to chemotherapy, right? You guys, not only did you not stick up for us, you taunted us. You taunted us and gloated about how the fact it will never happen.
Isn't fair, Keaton. I mean, these women knitted God knows how many pussy hats.
Well, it was too late by then.
Didn't you see the pussy hats?
It was too late by then.
They were advocating for
too
something.
late with the pussy
I'm not quite sure what, but
and so that's the point. The point is that you don't get to pick and choose whose rights are important and whose aren't. Okay, the people in 2016, and the only reason I'm mentioning 2016 is because you guys did, right? You bring up Susan Sarandon and Jill Stein. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about 2016, right? We're all on the same page with who brought this up. You want to bring that up? It was you guys who taunted us to our faces that no, healthcare was not a right. People who wanted healthcare as a right were lazy, entitled, moochers, spoiled brat, pie in the sky socialists, my way or the highway. You said everything in the book at us. You rigged the fucking thing against us.
Bernie's too far left for me, to be honest.
Right, he's too far left, to be honest. And so just fuck off. Fuck off is my short and simple response to all these people blaming Susan Sarandon. Fuck you. Tell the lifeguard at your husband's country club to put a fucking condom on, or I'll buy you a bus ticket to Maryland so you can get an abortion if you want. How's that? But shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up about Susan Sarandon and Bernie Sanders and the Bernie buses. You're fucking losers. You're a bunch of fucking losers. Most of you who are talking can afford to get an abortion. Well, first of all, most of you live in blue states, which means your reproductive rights are not going to be affected. And the ones who are in red states can very well afford a fucking bus ticket. And it's a crying shame that there are people in your states who can't. But you know what? You had every bit, you bear every bit the responsibility for that as anyone else. So just fuck off. Anyway, that's my point. Now, if you want to be a little more nuanced than that, Russell, I'll give you the floor.
Keaton, that's a tough act to follow. I feel in the years we've been doing the show, that was probably your finest hour.
Oh, all right. Well,
that was your most together diatribe ever. That was some freestyle flow.
I'm a team player.
No, I mean honestly, there's not too much for me to add to that. What is there to add? You said it all.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe wherever you saw it, on YouTube, on Rumble, or on Facebook. We have channels on all three of those platforms. Also, consider helping us create more content by becoming a member at patreon.com/do-dissidents or on Facebook, where you can become a supporter right through our Facebook page and get bonus content every week, as well as call-in access to our live stream shows. Thank you very much for your continued support.